Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. It is a Wednesday and it is a rest day today. I feel like I always say this, but it is well overdue. Since coming back from Amsterdam, taking the deload training has just been absolutely flying, and yeah, my body is just in a lot of pain today. I had legs yesterday and just woke up. You get that sort of tight feeling in your quads, which I really do enjoy, but it's just draggy already. So yeah, going to be in for a bit of a painful rest day, I suppose. But we're out getting some steps in. The time is 6:30, so usually wake up at 6. Admittedly, first 10-15 minutes are probably just spent in my bed in the darkness. I use that as my thinking time, my reflecting time, but really just think about, okay, what do I need to do, what's the priority right now, all of which I could probably have done the night before, but I quite enjoy sitting in the darkness. So we're just out getting some steps in. First meal isn't going to be until about 9 o'clock today, because we've got 2 posing calls. So we've got Kev at 7, we've got Kez at 8. So with Kev, we'll probably just be working through mandatories, a couple of routine poses as well. And then with Kez, we will be looking at transitions. So Kez obviously, I'll go back this way because it's really dark down there. Kez obviously being a posing coach himself is very good at posing, but he's probably the first to admit he can be a little bit clumsy at times when it comes to the bodybuilding stuff. So that's why we're putting a good effort in now, nice and early, and getting ahead of his posing. So we'll be sort of picking up from where we left off with the transitions. His poses, in terms of the actual mandatories themselves, are really, really good. Side shots maybe need to just work a little bit more on that lower body engagement. It's probably one of the most difficult aspects if you're crossing over from men's physique into classic, like he is. So excuse me. So yeah, just working on side leg with side relaxed poses, side chest, side tricep. So yeah, that's the plan for this morning. Then we'll get our first meal in, and I will also show you a full day of eating on a rest day as well. So I check in with Tim 2 days a week, Thursdays, Mondays. So in my last 2 check-ins, food has actually been bumped up. So my rest day food, I had planned to do a video on, and then it changed, and I was like, oh, I'll just push it back for a bit. So the rest day food is, I think it's around 2,900 calories, so nothing major. I don't really need a huge amount on a rest day. If I push more than 3,000, I just gain weight unnecessarily. So may as well keep food a little bit lower there. And then I'm trying to think what else we got on today. Posing check-ins. So I've got a couple of new guys who just started, so I'll probably take you through the process of them checking in, and got a van coming here. The process of them checking in, and starting the coaching process as well, and sort of what I look for when they're sending their initial check-ins over. Okay, what's good here? What are the priorities? Take you through the process of that. But I'll maybe show you a couple of boys who are on the team getting ready for the chair. And yeah, I think we've also got some rest day posing as well. So if you don't know, I'm part of the Posing Academy, or no, it's Posing University now, on school, which is a fantastic resource for people. I highly recommend it. Whether you're massively interested in posing or not, you can learn so much. They've got drilling rounds, which fall on both of my rest days. So they fall on a Wednesday and a Sunday, so that I use that as my rest day kind of posing, which is fantastic. We just go 4 or 5 hard rounds, 10-15 second holds. So for me to improve my posing fitness now, it means I'm going to have less to do later on in the year. So yeah, really enjoy those calls. Very beneficial. It's also easier when you're doing it in a big group and you've got someone watching you, so it makes the process of posing so much easier, and making say critiques and stuff. So I think John's taking it today, and then there's also a live call at 12 o'clock. I might jump on as well. We also have a business call with natural physique coaching, but probably won't show you that, that's private. So yeah, I'm going to finish my steps, maybe show you bits from the posing calls this morning. And yeah, like I said, we'll do a full day of eating. Why not? Because everyone loves food. Everyone's extremely food focused. But very happy with how things are going. Body weight was sitting at 177.75 this morning, so a little bit up after legs. But the look is just getting better and better. I'll probably pop some photos up at some point. I'll maybe talk through kind of how things are going and show my check-in photos. But very, very pleased. Very pleased. So yeah, we are 31 weeks out from the first show, 14 weeks out from prep. Let's get it. And yeah, one thing that has really improved over the last however many weeks, I'd probably say since Christmas time, it's just my whole like mindset mentality. Sorry, I'll show you this. It's looking very nice. It's probably just like my whole mindset and mentality towards competing again this year. Like I mentioned in the very first video, like I put an awful lot of pressure on myself, but I feel like with how things have been clicking so well, both sort of like just in terms with like Tim, but also post deload, training wise, physique wise, even the posing stuff, like I'm really starting to see very good progress. Like I've just found my mindset's improved massively. And there's a quote I put in my Instagram which I absolutely love, and I think so many people, you can take so much away from him and apply it to multiple different aspects of life. And the quote is, be so good that they can't ignore you. So, you know, whether it's the bodybuilding stuff, as soon as you walk out on stage, be so good that the judges just can't ignore you. Everyone looks at you. Whether it's the posing stuff, be so good at your job that, you know, people don't want to go anywhere else for posing, for business advice. So absolutely love that quote. And yeah, since that point, like, things have just been going extremely well. The physique, like, I'm really starting to see the progress that I wanted, especially through like the rear shot and stuff. And it's just like, just makes me happy. Because I've struggled so long to bring up my back, and I think things have just clicked very well now. Connecting well, progressing well, seeing the progress that I've wanted for ages. So yeah, be so good that they can't ignore you. But yeah, I just keep, even like those first 10-15 minutes in the mornings, sometimes I'll think about business, sometimes I'll think about life, sometimes I just think about getting back up on stage. And it sounds kind of cringy and stuff, but it does kind of get me up in the morning. You know, if I'm lying in the darkness, I'll often just think of like myself walking out on stage, hitting the poses. How do I want to walk out? What's the first pose I want to hit, even though it's supposed to be front relaxed? Maybe I'll go and like throw an absolutely outrageous front lat spread, and then I'm just imagining the judges' reaction, the crowd's reaction, feeding off that energy and stuff. So yeah, all this sort of like visualization of me getting back up on stage, I think is really helping, and it's improving my sort of like confidence, self-belief. So yeah, it just makes me excited for getting back up there. So yeah, just walking back to the house now. Steps are all done. First little morning walk. We'll probably do another one this afternoon. But you would have seen this morning vacuums. Or first of all, get up, go for a piss or a shite. Didn't want to say that when she was walking past. Go for a piss. Go do my morning vacuums. So I usually do like 3 to 5 10-second holds. That's all I really need to do at the minute. The one thing I do need to improve on is being able to hold them within a pose and then get my quads on as well. But that'll come with time. So do that and then weigh in. And that's usually my first 5 minutes of the morning. So yeah, going to head back now and get ready for the call. The first thing that I will consume is the Rise and Shine goat product. So just do 1 scoop of this, which is 5 grams every single morning. So it has 50, is it 5 grams? Maybe it's not 5 gram scoop. 7 gram scoop. So it has 50 milligrams of caffeine in it as well. So it's a hydration product. It's nootropic as well. So it just locks me in first thing in the morning, especially when I'm doing work in the morning. Then on rest days, I also have my creatine in this. So we just do 5 grams of that. I also have more creatine later in the day. I just split the dose. no reason why other than the fact I don't want to have 10 grams of creatine in that. And then we also have glutamine. So this one's from Engineered, because I ran out of my pit stop one. But it does the same job, so we'll just do 5 grams in here, and likewise I'll have another 5 grams later on. Because if I was adding 20 grams of creatine and glutamine combined, it would just be like real powdery, and it would throw off the taste of the Rise and Shine. So Rise and Shine first thing. And I don't think what else. Water. Hydration before caffeination, that's what I always say. By the way, my biggest pet peeve, what's the need? Just close it. Just close it. There's no need to leave all these open. See here? Just close them. Little things like that, they just stress me out. So yeah, right, time for the call. Leg. And that right foot, you can bring that right foot in even more. So keep it in front, but just bring it in, as in across your body. Across. Yeah, just to there. There we go. Okay, and keep that toe rotated out a little bit more. Yep, and then that knee just follows the line of the toe. So see the way the toe's pointing forwards, but out, that knee also follows. So then we get that quad sweep. And then we're just going to shift. I'd say put maybe 70% of your body weight over to the left leg. Let those hips sit to the back corner. Good. Very nice, okay. Good, and then just exhale into your abs. So a little bit of a crunch. Just see what it's like with pushing your left delt forwards.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we can maybe see if we get a little bit more width coming through. So we've got L shape with the feet. Right toe, turn that out a little bit more. There we go. Knee follows the toe. Body weight over to the left leg, hips sit to that back corner. Yeah, that's bang on, mate. Really nice. I see the difference it makes with that left delt coming forward. You just look so much wider across the top line. Your midsection looks smaller as a result. So we're still bringing through a lot of width across that top line, rather than just making it, how often people view it as a side tricep, a typical normal side tricep, where they're a little bit too side on. At least with this, we're getting more width across that top line. So, rest day, meal number 1. So, actually a little bit of a switch up to what I usually do for my first meal on a rest day, because I've got some sourdough that is actually about to go out of date, and I'm a bit of a cheapskate, and I'm not letting that go to waste. So, all I've done is added 100 grams of sourdough to this meal. The carbs that I've added, I've taken away from my next meal, so not the end of the world. But we have 100 grams of egg whites made into an omelette with some spinach. We've got 4 whole eggs, 100 grams of sourdough, like I said, and then we have got one absolutely fat, thick looking apple. I can already tell it's going to be very juicy, so looking forward to that one. But I'm going to get this meal in. We've got our calls done. Going to probably get a little podcast on. I know the Once You're In podcast is back. However, it's just not the same anymore. It's just not the same. It's just a load of inside jokes that nobody understands. So yeah, you need to sort that out, boys. Sorry, Finn and Reese. That used to be my favourite podcast. No, I think there's just better options at the minute. But you never know, they could turn it around. So we've also got Bro Chat. We've got the Big Dog Cast. Oh, I'm not sure. Decisions. So yeah, I'm going to eat this, get a podcast on. And then I will do some pose and check-ins. So it is time for meal number 2, and like I said, this isn't my typical meal 2 on a rest day, just because the sourdough this morning, so I've pulled some carbs from the jasmine rice here. So we've got, there's 150 grams rice total. I've just split that evenly across my next 2 meals. So we've got 75 grams of jasmine rice. We've got 150 grams of chicken. We've got courgettes, spinach and peppers as my veg sources, and then got a little bit of pink salt, as well as the goat olive oil, the chili and sun-dried tomato one from Tesco's. This is fucking ridiculous. So I've got 5 grams of that on this meal. There we go, probably my most colourful meal of the day. The veg, I have fresh courgettes, but then the peppers I just buy frozen. It's so easy. You can literally just stick them in the microwave for a minute and they completely defrost. You can put them in the pan, kind of fry them up a wee bit. So I've just started doing that instead of buying an actual fresh pepper, because the fresh peppers were never that fresh when I was getting them from Tesco's. They would always go off within like a couple of days. So much handier just having the frozen veg and then reheating it. So yeah, I'm gonna go chill out for a bit, eat this, and do some more work. It is time for meal number 3. So this is a pretty boring one because it is literally just a exact repeat of the previous meal. So we've got the remainder of my rice. So it is 75 grams of jasmine rice. Should be 100, like I said, but just swapping or just moving carbs about for today. So we've got jasmine rice, 150 grams of chicken, spinach, courgettes, and peppers as well. So yeah, exact repeat, like I said. I don't really mind having the same thing multiple times. I actually think it's very good if you're someone who's busy and doesn't have a huge amount of time to prep food. Like, even though I am like working from home and I'm in the house, you know, I'm busy enough. You know, I don't want to be standing and going and cooking a meal completely fresh. I'd much rather have it all laid out and I just go and reheat it. So having the same meals like multiple times in a day, you can just batch cook everything, and then you can just dish out the portions. And what I actually do is I know the weight of like all my Tupperwares. So when I cook chicken, for example, I can literally just throw it all into the Tupperware and I know what the weight of the Tupperware is. So if I know that this is like 4 portions of chicken, I can just zero the scales, put that on top, and then minus the weight of the Tupperware and then divide by 4. And there I know my sort of like raw weight to cooked weight portion sizes. So pro tip for you, pro tip. So yeah, exact same as last meal. Get the olive oil on. And I've actually finished pretty much all my work for today. So the only thing I've got left is a posing call this evening with a guy out in the States. So that's the beauty of being your own boss. I've just got the rest of the day free. It's what, 2:30? Yeah, 14:29 on the dot. So I can literally just chill out the rest of the day. Perfect. It is 5 o'clock, which means it is time for meal number 4. Without a doubt, one of my favourite meals on my plan. Absolutely love this meal. So we've got 500 grams of white potato. Like, I know a lot of people have issues with potato, and in the past I used to have issues with potato, and I will be honest, I think 90% of people have issues with potato because of their mindset, and they stress out about potato. I had digestive issues because other people were telling me they had digestive issues with potato. To be honest, as long as you don't go mental on the seasonings and you're not having like a kilo in one go, it'll sit perfectly. So yeah, I've got 500 grams of the white potato here, coated in 5 grams of olive oil, and then I put like this like Italian herbs sort of seasoning. It's all like single ingredient stuff. Stay away from like the garlic, the onion powders. They just ruin my stomach. So not overdoing it on that. And then I stick them in the oven. I absolutely cremate them at like 250, so full blast. Just so I can get them like nice and crispy. So do them at 250 for like 20 minutes and get nice and crispy. I can just kind of tell when they're done as well. So we've got the potato, the olive oil, then we also have 150 grams of 5% beef under there somewhere, and then 50 grams of veg. Usually do courgette, but all out of courgette, so it's peppers today. So yeah, I'm gonna get another podcast on because apparently that's all I do in my life is eat food, listen to podcasts, and then we've got a call in half an hour, so better get ready for that. Posing rounds wrapped up, so we've just done 39 minutes of posing with John. Not sure how many rounds, but it's 300 calories in total. My heart rate went up to 172 BPM. So for people who say posing is easy, it is most definitely not easy. But I'm kind of chatting after the call as well, just about the importance of not having to play catch up within posing. Like, get ahead of the curve. You know, when you actually feel good, put the hard rounds in. Don't wait until you're like 12 weeks out where you're dragging your tail about and yeah, trying to play catch up. So I will definitely be keeping these in. It's perfect that it falls on a rest day. And yeah, like there's no point in doing like that was 39 minutes total, but we did take breaks. There's no point in almost going to the other end of the spectrum where you maybe do like 7-8 rounds back to back, and the quality of the posing is just falling off a complete cliff after 2 rounds. Like, pose until you break. Once you break, call it there. Next time, just try and go a little bit further. You need to push to that breaking point, but once you go past it, the actual quality of the poses is just going to be absolute dog shit. So at that point, you're just ingraining bad habits. So posing wrapped up, like I said. We now, well, it's almost time for the last meal, but we also had a call with Gage, who's out in Oklahoma. Very, very productive. I'll maybe put some of the transformations from that session. One of the best things that we got from that was his sort of correcting his hip positioning and his stance on his back double bicep. So we always talk about like the adductor gap, removing the adductor gap, but it primarily comes from either 2 things, and we worked out that it was actually both of these things. It can be either one, stance is way too wide, so when your feet are too wide, it's likely going to push the adductors further apart. But it can also come from the hip positioning. So what we actually found out was that when he was contracting his glutes and his hamstrings, he was pulling his hips through quite a bit, and then when he then lifted his chest up and back, he was doing that by pushing hips forward, which would ultimately topple his torso back towards the judges. So we focused on just keeping his hips neutral, keeping them underneath his body, and then focusing on that thoracic extension to lift the chest up and back. So very happy with that. He's competing back end of the year, like November time, out in I think it's the Muscle Mayhem show, west coast of America. So very excited for that. He'll be really good. But like I said, it's almost time for the final meal, so I'm going to go get freshened up because I stink of absolute shite right now. So freshen up and then final meal. And at long last, we have the final meal. We have 100 grams of cream of rice. We've gone for the salted caramel trained by JP. We've got 20 grams of dark chocolate, which is like melted over the top when it's fresh out of the microwave, and then stick it in the freezer for like an hour, maybe 90 minutes, so that it kind of like refreezes. Yeah, it kind of like refreezes, but once it's melted. It's unbelievable. And then we've got 100 grams of frozen blueberries, 100 grams of frozen raspberries, cinnamon, and then 50 grams of whey. So we've gone for salted caramel perform. It's just salted caramel overload tonight. And then we've got the salt on top as well. So you can probably tell by my voice, I'm absolutely exhausted. Those posing rounds completely took it out of me. So I'm going to relax, switch off, get the blue light blockers on, get the ashwagandha and magnesium in. I'm going to chill out and go to bed. So this will be the outro. Thank you very much for watching once again. If you aren't subscribed already, what do you do? Subscribe, like, share, story tags, all appreciated. If anyone is interested in posing coaching as well, I'll put that down in the description. You can also just message me on Instagram as well, which I'll put in the description. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next episode.